Hi everybody, it's Honest John. A couple of days ago I received a message from a user called Frank732 informing me of a controversy about NDAA, specifically the provision that provides for indefinite detention of terrorist suspects, which seems to be centered at the Skeptical Heretics channel. So I checked it out, and I probably shouldn't, but I'm just dumb enough to weigh in. Now, let me say, I have no objections to putting terrorists away or killing them. I've stated in previous videos that if you align yourself with a terrorist group, you put yourself outside the protections of the Constitution, whether you're a citizen or not. But I do have problems with the NDAA, and here's why. First of all, I don't like the way it was passed. I think that an appropriations bill should cover appropriations, and that a provision like this that covers terrorism and indefinite detention and might have some effect upon our rights as citizens shouldn't be part of a bill like that. It should stand alone and be debated on its own merits. You have a bill like that, and then if a congressman votes against it on account of a particular provision, they can be accused of not supporting the military. So that provides extra pressure to pass something that maybe is not in the best interest of the country. Any act that deals specifically with us American citizens and what our rights might be should stand on its own, not be part of any other act. And I also object to the way it's written. And here's an example. I was reading through provision 1021 of the Act, and it refers me to the authorization for the use of military force. So I go there, and I start reading the relevant provisions there, and they refer me to the War Powers Act. So you can't possibly know what's in the indefinite detention provisions of the NDAA just by reading that act. You have to go to two other sources. I don't mind a little repetition. I think that exactly what is covered in that act should be completely written out in that act. I don't think you should have to go to two other sources to find that out. Most of us don't have law clerks on call to do that research for us. Another example. Recently, the Justice Department issued a clarification of what is meant by Al-Qaeda and its associates. Now, it's a good thing they did that. But since it's not actually in the law, it might not be the final interpretation. The next Attorney General might come up with a different interpretation. I think that that should be clearly spelled out in the law. And this is true about much of the law, and the reason why there is so much controversy about it. It seems to say certain things, but it might not. So I took a little extra time and went through some of the back and forth that went on prior to it being passed. And it seemed to me that every time they took out a phrase or added one, it just made things more fuzzy, more unclear. And I suspect this is deliberate. The idea being not to infringe on the government's powers and prerogatives. I understand sometimes situations that are not anticipated can occur, and the government wants to have as much flexibility as possible. But we're in a situation where real smart people are saying that the act says one thing, and other real smart people are saying it says a completely different thing. And that's the problem. I'm not even going to get into debating what's in the act, because the people who are a whole lot smarter than me don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I do. And that's the problem. It's the same problem that exists in the Patriot Act. And it's why that's a bad act. Any laws that deal with terrorism and our rights should be passed individually, not in part of something else. They should be written in simple language with a minimum of legal ease, and everything that is covered by the act should be in it, and there should be no doubt who it applies to, where it can be implemented, and what triggers it. And that's not what the NDAA is today. Thanks for listening.